Hello and good afternoon and welcome to a new video from me. So it's been a little while since I've made a video. To be honest, I've been kind of working pretty hard on some various goals and things like that, and obviously player imports, which is going to be the focus of today's video. So in the last video I made, I was kind of talking about the new releases in player imports, and obviously that's a couple of weeks on now, and I've made quite a bit of progress with the new kind of player imports material. Firstly, oh, that's the wrong one. If we just go into the port management, you'll see that I've got all 4 scrolls of the Death Lotus Darts. And I've got 1 of the Leviathan ring. To be honest, obviously people have got a lot more, and a lot of people will have gone for the Reefwalker's Cape, obviously because it's comp requirement. But I went for the Death Lotus Darts just to see what they were like, really. So we'll get onto that in a minute. I've now switched to the Leviathan ring because from what I'm hearing, it's very, very good, especially for sort of PVM and stuff, because it's an all-round balanced ring. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that soon. I was kind of working on the elemental scrimshaw because it sells for quite a lot, just because magic's obviously quite high at the moment, but put that one on the back burner. In terms of adventurers, I have... That's been weird. Yeah, I have met... If we go to my book, there we go. I've met one of the 3 new adventurers. As you can see up here, adventurers met. Now I haven't met the whaler, so I'd only met 5 anyway. So I've met the chef, and I've done all of the chef's story missions. I got the reward at the end, which was, I think, something along the lines of 20 or so pearls and about 3 spices, bizarrely. So in terms of trades goods, I've got quite a nice collection of both koi scales and pearls. Obviously haven't got any of the new port resources because I haven't quite made it to the new region yet, but I would imagine quite a few people will be getting there soon. In terms of distance, I'm on 71%. I kind of was away from the game for about, well, 48 hours really, so I'm a little bit behind on that compared to some people, but I'm getting pretty close to the new region, so I'm hoping I might be able to squeeze it by Thursday, because obviously you get the barmaid voyage there and you get extra resources and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's where I'm up to with that. Mission's out at the moment. Got 1 returned. Let's see what that is. Great. So in terms of the voyages I've got at the moment, I've got, yeah, just kind of a basic collection. I've done my special voyages for the day, which I believe I went for an XP mission and a scroll piece. In terms of port extras and add-ons, as I said in my previous video, kind of people might want to switch to various things. I was on the where is it? The cooking pot for all of these 3 icon hotspots, but now I've done all the chef's missions. I don't need that, so I've switched back to the occult artifact. The reason I try and get the occultist is purely for runecrafting XP, which I got 90 myself at Rune Span, and I've got all that XP since 90 literally from player imports, so I'm nearly 93, so it's pretty good. And I think mine is also set to XP voyages in terms of the not icon hotspots, can't remember what they're called. Totems, that's it. So if you see, I've got the parrot, which gives you XP voyages. So hopefully within the next few days or so, I should be able to get on to the next region, which will unlock terracotta. What I'll be doing with my terracotta straight away, I think, is trying to get these new ship parts. Now, I didn't show you this last time. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen yourself. But if we see here, terracotta, this hull here, the Blackwater hull. Now if you see, the balance is 1,700 to seafaring. Now if we look back at the highest morale and combat hulls are 1,400 for both of those, and the equivalent seafaring hull was only 1,200, which, when you couple in the fact that you can't use a ram figurehead for seafaring, gave a really high bias towards morale and combat, which is what I kind of alluded to in the previous video. So in terms of being able to balance your ship and your missions towards seafaring, and indeed 10k all three. That's going to be really important. The other hull is this hull here, which gives 1,325 to all. Now, if you were to, for instance, couple that hull with, let's say, 4 Oxhead horse faces and a captain, one of those, a judge of dice, you'd be looking at a very, very balanced ship. Now, this is not balanced at the moment because I'm obviously, in terms of port pieces or ship pieces going towards combat, but that hull is going to be really important. So the first thing I'm going to be going for myself is to get that hull. Now it's relatively expensive in so much as it's 5,000. Now the other pieces that you can go for are obviously all around the ship. So we've got overwhelmingly large cannon, which is 1,750 combat, a 2,000 seafaring, and a 2,000 morale. So again, it's slightly bringing the bias away from morale and combat and balancing it out with seafaring, which I'm really pleased to see actually, because it's always been a bit of an issue. Now if we go to the front of the ship, you'll see it's still only morale and combat, but they now have a little bit of seafaring, which on this figurehead of the spires, which is morale and seafaring, and then the final one is 1,100 combat. Now I believe there is some extra rudders as well. Speed 2,500 compared to 1,800 at the moment. Although I've said before in my previous videos, the rudders are the last thing you should go for, merely because if you send out a mission on 85% and it fails, if you have the better rudders, all it does is send it out at 85% and it fails quicker. So the rudders are always the last thing you should go for, in my opinion, because it's much better to improve your chance of success and then speed it up, rather than speeding up failing. But that's just my personal take. So those are the extra parts, and as I say, for me, it's not necessarily the right thing, but I will certainly be going for this hull first, and then going for the ship pieces. The reason I go for the ship pieces second is because you can use this one piece in 2 slots. Now it might be that some people think that, you know, it might be better to go for one of these first. Well, you can only go for the overwhelming cannon in the next region, but because you can use it in both. But I still think that the imbalance towards seafaring is such that it's worth going for that hull first. That's kind of really all there is to say about player imports at the moment, other than the Death Lotus Darts. So yeah, I built or I purchased, made, whatever, 10 of each of these. If I just go into my bank, grab all but one of these out. I'll just show you the, actually probably unwield them, and I'll just grab out, let's say, a Royal Crossbow for now, to compare. I know this is comparing two-handed to a one-handed, but if we look here, the damage and accuracy, 816, 2178 on the main hand, and the offhand 408, 2178. Now they're obviously thrown weapons, as we know, and they're obviously ranged, and they're the fastest. They're level 85, so the Royal Crossbow, for instance, is level 80, and obviously the next thing up would be the level 90 Ascension crossbows. Now, I don't have those to show, I'm afraid, but if we just look at the damage here, of 1,020, the speed is average. Now, these are the fastest, and you can see that the damage between them is more. So if you add it up, it's 1,224, and then the accuracy similarly is quite an improvement, up from, with the Royal Crossbow, 1,924 up to 2,178. However, that all sounds great. Unfortunately, the cost of these is pretty silly, and I think this is something that Jagex might need to change. So to make them, let's just look at the main ones. You need, obviously, to have all the scrolls, 100 Ascension shards, which, when I made them, were around 200k per 100, I think, or something like that. And then it's 1 ancient bone will get you basically 10, right? So getting the ancient bones is hard enough, okay, because they're not that common. But when you when you take into account the cost of making them with the Ascension shards, I did a little bit of calculations in terms of I used a few because I built 20 and then used 10 of each. They don't run out super fast, but you lose a few of them over time quite quickly. Anyway, when I looked at the maths and the time, this is a few days ago, and the cost of them, basically to use them for an hour would cost you 1.2 mil purely in Ascension shards, let alone having enough ancient bones. So to be honest, unless you were going to use them somewhere that made you a lot of money, let's say, I don't know, frost dragons or something like that, or even bossing, I suppose, you wouldn't really want to use them because you would end up reducing your profits quite heavily. Now, yes, okay, they are level 85 weapons and obviously are going to be pretty good. They do damage and they're pretty fast. But I think the amount that you get at the moment versus the cost of them is kind of a bit pointless, to be honest. So I certainly won't be making any more for a while. It's kind of nice to have them, but that's, yeah, I won't be using them, certainly. Another little update, I did manage to make myself full superior Death Lotus, and I made a bit extra and sold them because I got 90 crafting. I'm still sitting pretty on 247 plate and getting quite close to smithing. As you can see, target level 90, I'm 727k, so if I have 2 good days at Warbands, I'll be able to get 90 within, 2 days. And then I'll be making, obviously, my full Tetsu. I won't kind of go into my account updates and stuff too much in this video because this is more about player imports. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say for now. Certainly, as I said, if you want any advice on what to build when you get to that next region, for me personally it would be the hull piece, as I've said, but yeah, I mean, there's no necessary wrong or right way. The only thing I would say, as I said before, is don't just go for the speed first. That should be the last thing you do, frankly. I'm not sure if there are any new crew members. I don't think there are, but I haven't seen anything to the contrary. But then I don't know whether there'll be a special island like there has been in all the other regions, which might unlock a new crew member in each. I'm not really sure, but as far as I'm aware, I don't think there'll be any new crew. So obviously the next 2 things for me to do are unlock, well, 3 things: the whaler, the trapper, and the construction guy, which, I'm a little way away from. The whaler, I'm 85 fishing, and then construction 84. Hopefully that'll be going up with warbands, and then hunter, that'll be the last thing I do because I just can't stand doing it. So yeah, guys, I think I will finish the video here. The only other thing I would say is I bought this this outfit from Solomon's for some rune coins the other day. It looks pretty cool, I think. And I also keepsaked my proper scythe, which, if I equip something, it looks pretty cool, I think. That's the scythe from, I don't know, 2005 event. You can obviously get a cosmetic override scythe that comes with the outfit, but I kind of prefer to have the one there because it's just a bit of a rare. I've been looking for an outfit that kind of goes with the scythe for a while, and I kind of think this looks pretty cool. So yeah, I will leave the video there, guys, and as ever, any comments or questions, just feel free to drop me a message and I'll endeavour to answer them. So bye for now.